Today we're covering judo techniques that you can apply for either the sport or a street environment. Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. On this channel I review martial arts books and talk about other martial arts related subjects. The subject for today's review is The Throws and Takedowns of Judo by Geoff Thompson, published in 2001. Geoff Thompson is primarily known for his karate background and his work as a bouncer and the lessons that taught him for real-world self-defense. Now when it comes to judo, he's got black belt rankings in judo, and he actually trained with judo Olympian Neil Adams. Now in this book, Mr. Thompson presents the use of judo throws, a selection of them, ultimately meant to be used in a self-defense context, although I do think the basic instruction gives you some pretty good ideas for the use in competition as well. In the introductory section, he says that grappling is a part of a whole. You shouldn't ignore things like striking. And he also notes that randori, or free play, is vital. Randori is the judo practice of locking up and practicing throwing one another. Chapter 1 is distinctive in that it covers the stance and basic grips in preparation for the throw, and every other chapter after that is going to cover some throw variation. The throws that are shown, he begins with the tai otoshi, or the body drop, then ippon shionage, as he puts it. That's a different spelling than what I'm used to. That's basically single arm shoulder throw. You have ogoshi, the hip throw, osotogari, which is a major outer reaping. Then you have both ochi-gari and ko-uchi-gari, which are major and minor inner reaping, so you're going inside the leg as opposed to outside. You have harai-goshi, which is a sweeping hip throw, so you're throwing the guy over your leg and kicking your other leg back, throw him over. You have uchimata, which brings your leg up to sweep the inside of the other guy's leg, and you also have hizaguruma, where you plant your foot on the outside of the guy's knee and you wheel him over it. It's a knee wheel, that's the name. Now for the basic format, the chapters will describe coming to grips with the opponent, off-balancing them for the specific throw, then how to enter in and finish the throw. In several of the chapters, the author will describe some variations of the throw at hand. So, for instance, for ochigari and ko-uchigari, those are reaping throws. He shows ochi and ko-uchi gake, where you weave or hook the leg, as opposed to sweeping it back. He also shows a dropping version of the shionage, the shoulder throw, where you drop to your knees to throw the guy overhead. And for the osotogari, one of the variations he shows is to grab the guy's throat to get him moving backwards before you kick his leg out from under him. And that's a good segue to talk about how he will discuss streetifying the throws. In other words, how to make them less friendly. As I mentioned, one of them was grabbing the throat to get the guy to move backwards before kicking his leg out for the osotogari. He will also discuss things like using a headbutt to enter in for ochigari, and when one is going for uchimata, where the leg typically sweeps up and catches high on the inner thigh, he says that you can actually go up the middle and catch the guy in the groin. I imagine it's a slightly more mechanically worse throw, but also you just hit the guy in the groin. Now, throughout the book, he will make a point to emphasize the idea of pressure testing. In other words, taking your techniques and really working them, making sure that you can do them under pressure. As far as the pros go, this is a good intro to some basic judo throws. Like I said, each one of these gets a chapter, and you also get some variations for some of those. And if you come from a judo background or are studying something similar, this also gives some options for, again, how to make it more street applicable by adding some dirt into it, if you will. As far as the cons go, one of the reasons I'm covering this in this format instead of chapter by chapter is that it does sort of become a little bit redundant as we go on. Unfortunately, there are also not a lot of photos or illustrations to show the breakdown of the throws that we might find in other books. As far as recommendations go, I think this would be a good text for especially people who already had a basic background in judo throws and were interested in learning how to apply them in a more street type of environment. Beyond that, if you can find it for cheap, it's a decent introduction to some of the better judo throws, although there are better sources for a lot of them. It's not bad, I just think that there are better ones out there. Anyway, that's all I have for this week. Thank you for following along with me. If you would like to help support the channel, or if you have a recommendation for a book for me to review, please consider donating to my Ko-fi account. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. And thanks again. I'll see you later.